Yes, hello.
Hi. Welcome to Chaos and Booklore.
Welcome back. As you can see, we've got a different background today.
We have a new studio.
Yes. It's not necessarily a new studio. It's just that it's very hot inside, so we decided
to come outside because we already had a long night. So
lots of reading was done, but sleepiness is here.
Sleepiness is real. I think Demi filmed some of yesterday's event, so I'll maybe put it in here somewhere.
Yeah, we'll cut that in here
somewhere.
What's happening?
I'm flabbergasted. Why is this happening? I can't deal with all the bombs that are being thrown at me right now. I'm almost done. Someone's being held at gunpoint right now. That's all I can say. There's just a lot.
It's okay. Hey, Shay. So welcome back, and we are doing our November reading mood board. I just blanked out. This is what happens when you don't get sleep, guys.
And it's in October, as you can see with my skull hand clip.
Skull clips. Yeah. So, sorry. Let's start from the beginning. It's our November reading mood board. Okay. Sorry, brain has been fried since last night. But that's what we're doing today, and I think let's just get into it. Let's not talk too much.
All right, we got this.
Okay.
Hey guys, so we are gonna go over our mood board. So the theme for me this month is going to be memoirs, self-help, and poetry. So I have my mood board on my Kindle. So primarily because I want to be using the library a little bit more. So some of the books I have, some of the books I'll be getting from the library if it's available. If not, we're going to have a whole surprise in November.
Support your local library.
Exactly. So coming in hot, and I'm glad we're filming this today because I pre-ordered this and it will be delivered tonight, is Britney Spears, A Woman in Me. Okay? And I heard so much tea about this book on TikTok that I had to buy it. I told myself I wouldn't buy any more books, but as soon as I saw the excerpts from the book, I was like, we're gonna get it.
It's Britney.
It's Britney, and she's back. Yeah. So that's book number 1. And then book number 2 is Have I Told You This Already? And it's by Lauren Graham. And of course the book community would know about this because where is she from? Where is she from? Demi, where is she from? What show is she from?
She's from Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls.
ASMR.
So I just love her so much. I actually didn't know she was a Pisces.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that. I'm like, it makes so much sense. I'm a Pisces.
They are very like, actually.
Very much so. Very like exaggerating actress.
Charming.
Oh, I am charming?
Yes.
Of course. Thank you. You're so cute. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So that is on my list as well. And then we're still continuing on with the memoirs. Viola Davis's Finding Me. very curious about her background and want to see like what she's all about. Cause
Yeah, I don't know much about her.
I don't know much about her. Like, she's a great actress.
Yeah.
But like, I really don't know much about her history and like where she came from.
Yeah, I just know she's like How to Get Away with
Murder. Yeah. Yeah, and she also like did a cameo for Scandal.
Oh, did she?
She did.
Ooh.
Actually, I think
Did she start off at Scandal?
no, she didn't. But like, it makes sense, you know, Olivia Pope.
Fair.
You know, like
Fair.
both lawyers. You know,
Killers.
mischief. You
Oh,
know.
I guess if you haven't watched it, spoiler.
Oh shoot. Okay. Well, I mean, we didn't tell them specifics, right?
True.
Right? Okay. And then the next on my list, and it's so funny because this book I came across from LinkedIn, and like I loved the way she delivered her course.
Okay.
And this is Tara Moore and her book Playing Big, and she's like a female coach for women and women in leadership. So I thought that was super cool. So I just wanted to read more about her book. And honestly, if you want a LinkedIn course, like do a Tara Moore LinkedIn course because it was so great. And she had such amazing quotes and stuff. So when I do my wrap up, I'll tell you guys some of the quotes.
Awesome.
And then we have another book. It's called The Power of Regrets. So
Sounds sad.
it does, right? And so it's something that I want to read. It sounded interesting. So I'm just like, okay, so this is one we're going to pick up from the library, and I'll tell you guys what it's about.
Okay.
Not sure what it's about, but it sounded super interesting.
Yeah. Sounds like sad but inspirational.
Right?
You know, like the power of regretting something and like driving yourself forward.
Exactly, right? And it's kind of a vibe, right, for November. And then we have another memoir, but this one's called What My Bones Know.
Oh, yes. It's one I've been wanting to read as well.
It's on my list. It's made it on my list finally. So it's stuck there. It's stuck in my brain when you mentioned it. And now it's on the list.
Might read it this month as well then.
Right? And then the next one is Year of the Tiger by Alice Wong.
Oh, Alice Wong.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's on the list. And then the next two books is poetry. So we have, let me read this. On the Sun Swallowing. So very curious about what that is.
I don't know what that could be about.
Right? It says is a sweet and bloody collection of poetry dancing in the spaces between skin knees and red wine, satin and switchblades, rosaries and Dionysian ecstasy. Her writing is haunted by the ghost of girlhood, gods, lovers, and landscapes of childhood, but Warren is unflinching. She haunts her ghost in return with sharp lyricism and cutthroat vulnerability.
Interesting. It sounds like a fantasy.
It sounds like a fantasy, but in poetry form.
I'm guessing it's going to be like fantastical elements in a like true story
kind of situation.
Okay.
So when I read it, I'm like, this sounds, the fact that it's called On Sun Swallowing.
Yeah, that's
like
that's
sun, like the sun. I'm just like, what?
That sounds like a very poetic title.
Right? Like Dark Moon, but on sun swallowing.
But very like literary, you know?
Exactly. So I'm like, this one is an indigenous author. But the title, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, is Pocahontas. Like Pocahontas, but like Pocahontas.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, ooh.
That's so interesting.
Ooh. So that is the last book on my list. And I'm really excited about this month. Bring me back to reality because October was spooky season, ghosts and ghouls.
Yeah.
And now we're like, let's come back to reality. So that's the vibe for me this month.
That's fair. Yeah. We do love a good memoir.
I know. Right? You gotta read them. They write them for a reason, right?
That's true.
So let's do it. So that's me.
Super exciting. I'm up next. Okie dokie. So it's my turn for my reading mood board for this month. Again, I have my little orange indigo bag. Not as many things in it this time around.
See, you say this, but you add some surprises in there for us every single month. Every single month there's a surprise.
That is true. It's funny because for last month I said the same thing and I had like a whole bunch of books and I barely read like half of those books. So mood board is truly what it is.
We are mood readers. It just makes sense for us.
So this list of books are maybe what I will read.
Maybe not. I feel like you'll have some surprises in there. You always do.
Yeah. I am planning to reread, actually, this giant ass Percy Jackson series. Okay, that's the original one. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. It's my favorite book series like ever in my whole entire life. I remember reading it for the first time when I was like super young. It was the first book. It's one of the first books I asked my parents to buy me from Scholastic.
Oh my god.
You know, like the Scholastic pamphlets and
Yeah.
shit. Sorry, I have swear a lot, guys. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Scholastic pamphlets, and it's one of my favorite books, and I just want to reread it before the show comes out on Disney Plus. And now that the SAG strikes are over, I can like genuinely support it and be like, okay, dive right in. It's my favorite series and I'm really excited and I really want a good live action for it. Like, I've been praying.
Oh god. Could you imagine reading the book and loving it so much and then for it to end up like Twilight?
I mean, that's pretty much what happened. Like, I think it was worse because, like, not that the Percy Jackson like movies were bad, but they weren't good. So
it didn't do it justice.
it did not. So that's the first series I would be reading this month, and it's kind of like what I am thinking November is going to be like. Planning to do like a fairy tale, Greek mythology situation, maybe Roman mythology.
Fairy tales.
So like the next one is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is one of those books that are super popular on BookTube and BookTok and Bookstagram. It's pretty up there with like Fourth Wing, right?
Wow.
It's like Fourth Wing in this book that really got people talking, and I just want to know
What it's about.
because I like look at Fourth Wing and I'm like, I probably won't enjoy that because I'm not really a super romancy person.
True.
And I heard that this one focuses more on the fantasy aspect than the romance aspect of it.
Right.
So I feel like I would enjoy that more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even if there is a little bit of romance, at least it's like leaning into the fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I am excited about that one. I'm hoping it's good. I've heard that it's good. I hope I like it.
Fingers crossed.
The next one is actually from the same author. But I heard it was also good. And that is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. It just sounds really interesting. This one has, I think, a male protagonist. And I think he has to, like, go back to his village and figure out who's, like, kidnapping all the girls in his village.
Oh, wow.
And that just sounds interesting, and I want to see the fantasy spin that they put on it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the Peter Piper.
Peter.
What is it? It's like the one where it's like I forget what the fairy tale is, but he like plays the flute, and like the
Peter Piper.
Is it Peter Piper?
Yeah, Peter Piper plays his Piper. It's a tongue twister. It's Peter Piper.
We just might be confusing it. Like, if you know in the comments, please save us because I don't remember it. But it's the one where like he plays the flute and like little kids like
and he calls.
Yeah, he pretty much calls them, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm wondering if that's kind of what this is like. That's why it's going in here. So I don't know.
They don't call it a flute. He calls it a piper. It's a
pipe. Yeah, right.
It's a tongue twister. Peter Piper plays his pipe.
Isn't it like
Peter something?
Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. But like that's a different thing than what I'm thinking
I know,
about.
but like Peter, like we know he plays his piper. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, the comments will let us know. Please save please save us.
Kind, okay? We're on 6 hours of sleep.
Maybe less.
Maybe less.
Well, moving on. The next book I have is After the Forest by Cal Woods. Actually, wow, that's so interesting that that's her name, Cal Woods. And it's called After the Forest. I actually just registered that. And this is a book that I got from Crate recently for, I think, October. And it's a story about Hansel and Gretel, but like after them surviving the witch that tries to eat them.
Ooh.
Interesting premise. I honestly just heard Hansel and Gretel and I was like, I'm reading it because I love Hansel and Gretel. That's like one of my favorite dark fairy tales.
Right?
So I am excited to see what they do with it.
But also, we're not sponsored by Crate, but can we talk about the edges for a second? The painted edges.
It's very nice.
Love this in the details, okay?
It's very nice. It's very autumn.
Right?
Like very this season.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. And then another book I'm reading is Encyclopedia of Fairies. And this one is by Heather Fawcett. I'm really excited about this one, mainly because I heard it deals with fairies like fairly traditionally, and I know a lot of people know that fairies right now are like pretty much elves, you know, they're like hot, pointed ears, maybe have wings or like other animal characteristics. I don't know. But, you know, that's not what fairies used to be. They were like the pranksters of the imaginary world. They will actually sometimes steal children, and that's what changelings are, you know? They used to be perceived as dangerous, right? Like, they used to tell stories of fairies to scare kids, not to lust after. So...
Exactly. And then they became Disney-fied.
So I am really excited to read something that is more traditionally guys, you need 8 hours of sleep at night, okay? I cannot stress this enough. When you get less, your brain stops working. Anyway, back to this. Traditionally. It's what I want. Like, that's what I want from fairies.
Fair enough.
Is danger. We have enough peace. Okay. The next one I have is called God Killer. And this one is by Hannah Canner. And this one is, I read a little bit of the back. I don't actually know what it is about, but I just know that a girl is trained to be a killer of gods because her parents, I think, were slaughtered by a god.
Huh?
And so she is like became a god killer, hence the title.
Like an assassin of gods.
An assassin of gods.
Well.
And so I'm just like, that's interesting. Because in this world, I think it's that gods are now illegal because of all the power that we give them in our belief or something like that. And so the god killers are there to just kind of like maintain the peace so they don't go haywire. Wow. And so that's a really interesting concept for me. I'm like, I want to know a little bit more about the world. And I read in the synopsis that it's actually she'll meet a little girl whose soul is connected to a god, and like if she kills the god, then the little girl could die, and so that poses like a moral dilemma for her. And I'm wondering if it's gonna be like a sisterly bond type of situation, and I just love that. I love sisterly familial bonds. I love found families. Like, that's my favorite thing in books. So I'm really hoping that's something that's in here.
Nice.
And that's all that's in this bag. But I do have like a bunch of things that I'm waiting for in the library as well. I'm planning to read Piranesi by Susanna Clark. I have it borrowed in the library. It's just sitting there right now. And I really want to read it. I hear it's very weird. It's based on Greek mythology.
Right.
So I thought it would fit this month. And I have a couple of other books there that, to be honest with you, I cannot remember. So it will show up
In the wrap-up?
in the wrap-up in November sometime. So just like wait and see. But that's pretty much all I have for today. Yeah. Thank you, guys. That's a
I know. See, this is what happens when we have zero sleep. Zero.
I could, like, we're planning to read today, but I feel like if I start reading, I'm just gonna nod off.
No, that's why we're going to be out here. Because the cold air.
Fair. That's true. That's true.
Yeah, we're going to stay out here.
Okay, good. Because I if we go inside,
Everything will come out here. We're going to bring the TV out here. It'll be out here. And we'll just be out here.
We'll just be out here. We'll be chilling. Okay. Like, oh, pun intended, I guess. Anyways, what were we doing? We're doing an outro.
Oh, yes. Hi. So, honestly, that is our November mood board. We're super excited to continue our good book streak.
Yes. Since October was great, planning to have a great November as well, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Honestly, we're going into new territories, trying out new books, and seeing what will work for us. But honestly, for everybody who's been on our journey, thank you so much for watching. And if you've made it to this point and you love what we're doing, like, share, follow,
Subscribe.
Comment below.
Join the chaos.
Join us. Tell us what you're reading. But honestly, thank you so much for your support.
And thank you for your time always, and for giving us a chance to share our love with books with all of you.
Hey.
Bye.
Grape slush.
Cute. A little PLL. And also a nice little nighttime cityscape.